swung on and driven high and deep into center field. The Red Sox are going to the playoffs. Say down, say hello to October.
It's gone. It's into the bullpen. This game is tied. This game is tied.
Strike three called. 100 miles an hour. His 11th strikeout.
Dale winds. He fires. Swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. The Red Sox have won the World Championship.
All right, Play Tessie, episode 347, the official Red Sox podcast of WEI, presented by Baseball Isn't Boring. Baseball Isn't Boring. Get your merch at bbisn'tboring.com. Subscribe to Play Tessie wherever you get your podcasts. Rate 5 stars. Find us on the YouTube and the socials at Play Tessie, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Like and subscribe. Breaking news. Obviously, you've all heard it by now. That's why you're tuned into this podcast. Even after a Red Sox win, 2 straight Red Sox wins, the obvious discussion point, the only thing we're really going to talk about here is that the Red Sox moved on from Alex Cora. Alex Cora, the manager of the Red Sox since 2018, except for 2020, which doesn't count, has been fired, along with, I got to pull up a list because they fired everyone. It was Armageddon. Alex Cora fired along with hitting coach Pete Fatsi, bench coach Ramon Vasquez, third base coach Kyle Hudson, assistant hitting coach Dylan Lawson, hitting strategy coach Joe Cronin, and then Jason Varitek will be, quote-unquote, reassigned to a new role in the organization. But obviously you can read between the lines there. He's pissed. He wants no part of this movie. Like, he got fired. He got fired, and they're saving face here. Jason Varitek is not going to be back, and they did admit that he would not be in uniform again. The picture with him with the thumbs down says all that needs to be said there. But pulling the curtain, it's not even really pulling the curtain back because it was on the show. But we have talked about Alex Cora's job security both on and off the show before. And the one time I remember it definitely coming up was when we were sitting in the spring training Airbnb recording, I believe, the second to last podcast before the season started. And we talked about how much wiggle room Alex Cora would have if the season didn't go according to plan. So his job was something that we thought, hey, if this season doesn't go well, it could be on the line. In my wildest dreams, I could never have imagined they would make such a seismic shift in April. And that's just talking about Alex Cora. That's not even mentioning the fact that they fired basically the entire coaching staff, which I don't know about you, Sammy, but in sports, you see coaching staffs wiped at the end of a season because a coach, a head coach, a manager, whatever will get fired. And then you hire a new coach. They bring in their guys. Everyone gets fired in those instances. In the middle of a season, not even talking about in the first, 10% of the season? Are we still maybe 15%, right? Somewhere around there. I've never seen an entire staff and a manager that's this decorated, or any manager, like April, managers don't get fired in April. But that's what happened here. Craig Breslow, and it was his decision. Alex Cora, you're out. Every coach on the staff that we would constitute an Alex Cora guy, besides Jose Flores, gone too. Let me just start the pod off and we'll get to the discussion here. But I'll start us off by reading the tweet that I tweeted out yesterday because I thought laid out my thoughts pretty well. I said, all can be true. Alex Cora is one of the premier baseball minds in the sport and accomplished incredible things as Red Sox manager, one of the best they've ever had. 2, if you power rank the Red Sox problems this year, AC isn't close to the top of the list. He wasn't the one that left the Red Sox without any power. He's not out there with a sub 600 OPS. He's not out there with a 9 ERA. 3, that said, the team is dramatically underperforming expectations. Most had this as a playoff team. They're not close to that. 10-17 at the time, now 11-17, and ranked near the bottom of almost every stat imaginable, and it's a results business. 4, a fresh voice is sometimes needed. Cora managed 7+ seasons, and lots have been tough ones with unnecessary subpar rosters provided to him. It can be taxing, and it was definitely starting to look like he wasn't as happy on the job as he once was. Haven't seen that talked about a lot today. And 5, finally, it's Breslow's team now. He pushed Cora and all of his guys out. Blame was undeniably placed. If this team doesn't turn it around with all those guys out the door, you can guess where ownership is going to look next.
Well said. Well said, and I'll add on to that what Ken Rosenthal wrote today. This is from The Athletic. He said, quote, "It's an endless game of survivor at Fenway Park. Only no one ever survives. Not top executives, not superstars like Mookie Betts, Rafael Devers, and Alex Bregman, not managers like Terry Francona, John Farrell, and now Alex Cora." To me, the Red Sox seem unbelievably disorganized right now. The Cora extension not too long ago. You think he's going to be here for a decently long time, 3 years, decent tenure. Turned down a longer contract. Kind of see why now. But the thing is, it's April 26th. He was fired yesterday on the 25th. This does not happen. It doesn't happen where a manager is fired in April. It especially doesn't happen when the manager and all of his coaches are all fired at once. It created an organizational seismic shift with the AA bench coach becoming the manager and the AA manager coming up to the big leagues to be the third base coach, and the AAA manager is now the MLB manager, and the AAA bench coach is now the AAA manager. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is so unusual, so shocking. And by the way, I've seen a few people be like, this isn't a surprise. Shut up. It is absolutely a surprise. Nobody saw Alex Cora getting canned.
Can I ask you a question, Sammy?
Yeah.
Is the surprise for you? Obviously, it is a surprise, but is the surprise for you that he got canned at all, or is it purely the timing of it?
It's the timing. It's the timing and the guys who went with him. Like you said, all of his guys. Flores, I don't even know if he is a Cora guy because he was in the organization at a lower level and then got brought up last year in a bench role. But either way, all of Cora's guys or all but one of Cora's guys gone at the same time. So early on, there were 135 games left when they pulled the plug on this guy who everyone around baseball, with no exceptions, agree is a brilliant baseball mind. But like you said, Gordo, it's results driven, and we kind of alluded to it in the last show. It's not, things aren't going well. I think I called this team pathetic and lifeless, something harsh like that. And here we are. It feels weird. No Alex Cora. Chad Tracy is the new manager. Chad Tracy coming up from the Red Sox, another guy who's viewed fondly by baseball people. So that's good. We'll get to that later. It's just shocking, and I'm not willing to hear anyone who say they're not shocked. If you're not shocked, then you don't really know what's going on because this is completely unprecedented.
Yeah, and I feel like there's two different. I mean, the web is endless of things we could talk about on this show. And we're not going to have enough time to talk about everything. There's just no way. We could talk about it for 5 hours and it wouldn't be enough time. But there's the angle of he's being held accountable. Should he have been held accountable? All of that. And then there's the how was his job? Like, how good of a job was he doing? Did he deserve any of this? And I feel like maybe we can tackle it all in one. And I guess the third web would be the shock and awe of course, the Red Sox ownership, the Ken Rosenthal approach. And I think that that's the approach that most people are taking right now is here they go again, Red Sox ownership. Oh my God, they fired yet another guy. And I don't know. It is true. But that said, I mean, he's managed for 7 years with 1 year interrupted basically for a suspension. That was it. I know they file through CBOs like it's nobody's business, but with managers, I mean, it just hasn't been that way. And so to me, yeah, it's not, I'm not just going to sit there every single time they fire a guy and be like, it's classic. They fired a guy. By the way, Pat's not here today. Forgot to mention that off the top. Pat's not here. It's just Gordo and Sammy.
Pat got fired.
Pat got fired from the pod. But when at the time of the firing, and really they made the decision before the game. So they were 9-17. I think we can all agree if you power ranked the guys who put the roster on the field, the guys who are actually on the field playing, and the guy managing them, the manager would come third for reasons that the Red Sox were at 9-17 when the decisions were made. Like I'm saying, Craig Breslow put the roster on the field.
In terms of blame, right? You're talking about in terms of who you're blaming for the slow start? Okay.
Yes. Because I think yes, trust me, I've been very outspoken about how I didn't think they did close to enough offensively. That said, I thought they were going to have an average-ish offense, and they have had to this point close to the worst offense in baseball. 17-run game is going to save them stat-wise for a while, but we've seen what this team is. They are one of the worst offensive teams in baseball in the month of April. I think that's on Breslow, and it's on the players underperforming before it's on Cora. That said, and we're going to talk about this in the show, but if this continued, we've seen Alex Cora go down this road with a CBO with teams that are underperforming, and he's turned ownership on a CBO before, and Craig Breslow, in my opinion, was not about to let that happen again. So if you want an explanation for the timing, it's Craig Breslow jumping in front of that.
Yep, agreed. I feel like it's him protecting himself. And I don't think Alex Cora is wrong for that. When he complained about Chaim Bloom, look at the rosters he was given. He was given very poor, not major league quality rosters. And I wouldn't say the same about this current roster, but it's what we've spoken about a million times. The construction of it is bizarre. He's managing the outfield like it's an AAU team. The offense is, I think it's average. It will be average, I should say, but it's performing much below that. And it's such a bad look for the Red Sox. My biggest fear currently, maybe currently is not the right word, but my biggest fear is long term. How does this impact the Red Sox? Because if Breslow doesn't do a good job, if he's not able to turn this around, I'm going to call him the GM because I don't want to keep referring to him as POBO, whatever the fuck is. He's the GM. If he can't turn this around and he gets canned, nobody is going to want this job with the Red Sox. It is the most insecure job in all of Major League Baseball. You could be fired at any moment. The ownership group is hated throughout the city, and you have no clue how much resources they're going to give you to use.
Question for you, Sammy. Do you think if Craig Breslow got fired, and we'll bring this back to Cora in a sec, but do you think if Craig Breslow got fired at the end of the year, would the job be more or less enticing than it was last time around when they hired Breslow? I would say more enticing because there's no manager in waiting there that you don't know, you don't have any relationship with. You get to hire your own guy. It would be less enticing because there's yet even more data that if you don't get this shit on the tracks in 3, maybe 4 years, you're gone too.
Well, also you have a better group of players to work with. When Breslow came into town, it was kind of a lot of potential that we're banking on. Now there's big league pieces. It's not by a lot.
I don't even know if I would say more. Because the farm was in such a better place. You had all these guys coming. Like you were already a 500-ish team, and you had so much coming. And now they're like, I mean, we hope they'll be a 500-ish team. We'll see.
So I guess it depends. So I guess it depends where they end this year. Because if they finish with 89 wins again, I'll say I think it's more appealing now. But then again, why are you firing a GM after an 89 win season? That would make it look weird. There's so many factors, and no matter
89 wins, there's just no way.
Hey,
dude, no way.
134. Hey, they're undefeated with Chad Tracy, dude. They ran the bases and got thrown out 3 times, but they still ran the bases. Yeah. I
appreciated the aggressiveness. I've been begging for that all year. So I'm not gonna
me too.
Not gonna hit them for that. Yeah, just for me, when your team is 11-17, fires the manager and the entire coaching staff in April, you're not a playoff team. You're not in the playoff race until you really, really show me that. Like you have to more than show me now. Like even if they can rip off 5 games in a row here, and I'm not going to be like, all right, they're right back. They're good to go.
We were talking this morning with Bradfo about how the messaging coming out of spring training was this is a team and with aspirations to not just make the playoffs, but win the World Series. With the Boston Red Sox, we want to win it all. And you're firing the manager and his staff in the first month of the season. It is just it is so Red Sox. Like, if it weren't this giant, massive firing that just happened, it was just Cora, then I think it would be okay to say I'm not surprised because it would just be the mismanagement of everything that the Red Sox love to do. The way it happened is still shocking in my opinion. But man, imagine being a Yankees fan right now. Imagine if this were happening to the Yankees, actually. From our perspective, what we'd be thinking about the Yankees. They're years away. They're a mess. Who's going to be their long-term manager? Nobody's going to want to take that job. The GM is a disaster. The fans hate them. It's awesome. We're loving it. We're just drinking the tears. But no, it's us. We are the ones producing the tears.
And this is now, Boston. And it's 1 year after they traded Aaron Judge in a salary dump.
It's 1 year after. Oh, okay. Can I ask you a question, actually? A serious question? Joe, I'm about to mention Alex Bregman, so write this down. Do you think that Alex Cora would still be the manager if Alex Bregman were on this baseball team?
Obviously, yes. There's 0% chance that he gets fired if Alex Bregman's still in that locker room. I mean flat 0.
Thank you.
I already think it's pretty shady. I assume that Alex Cora was a big part of their pitch to Ranger Suarez, who they just signed for $130 million 5 years. I already think it's pretty shady to fire a manager who I assume was a big part of that pitch. We know for sure that if Alex Bregman were here, and Alex Bregman coming here last year, Alex Cora was such a huge part of that.
This team is so stupid.
Can I ask
dumb.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Or it'll come with a statement too. Because I do think his time was coming, whether it be of his own choice or the team moving on. Because we talked about it at the beginning of the year. If they didn't perform well, his job was going to be in jeopardy. And hey, even if they did perform well, we all talked about there's a chance that this guy's going to want to move into a different role in the organization. I also I don't know. There's all of this, and I think he deserves all of the love and flowers in the world because he did what he did in 18, and he made several Red Sox teams that had awful rosters watchable for 2/3, if not more, of the season. I appreciated that, and he helped get this team back to the playoffs. He helped bring Alex Bregman in the door. I assume he was not part of the reason why he walked out the door.
Yeah,
he did
not.
a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, you could see it in the media availabilities. He was getting chippy. He was getting grumpy. Like, it was just, he didn't have it, in my opinion, this is from an outside perspective, but it didn't feel like he had the same joy for the job that we once saw out of him in the past. And I keep seeing people say something of the ilk of, you fire one of the best managers in the sport, you can't get a better manager. It's like when you trade Rafael Devers, you're not going to end up with getting a player back that's better than him. You're right on this. Yes. When Alex Cora gets fired, you're not going to have a quote unquote better manager than him, but sometimes there's a better manager for a group. And to me, with a young up and coming group that should be playing with energy, to hear Wilson Contreras talk about how there was no energy multiple times, having multiple meetings, saying that they needed to turn up the energy, seeing just sort of the mood and the vibe in a lot of these Cora media availabilities. And it's not just the losing, because it was back in spring training too. Like, I wonder if maybe it was just, even if the April thing is shocking and he deserved a chance to get them through this. So this isn't me advocating for a firing now, but I had been wondering at the end of the year, is it maybe time to bring in someone new? And even if it's just on his own decision, I don't know. Am I the only one thinking like that? Because everyone online, I feel like the narrative right now is F Red Sox ownership, F Craig Breslow, Cora got screwed. When in the end, I feel like this day, whether it was Cora's decision or the team's decision, it was coming.
I've kind of always thought that about Alex Cora. Remember a few years ago thinking, why does he seem so down? I think he's just really good at keeping an even keel. You might be right, though. It's hard to say without knowing the guy and talking to him on a daily basis. But overall, the thing that bums me out is I think Cora's best ability was being a playoff manager. When he manages in the playoffs, he is as good as it gets. And now I'm thinking, all right, I still think this team has a shot to bounce back. We've seen teams start worse than this and still make the playoffs. I'm not saying the Red Sox are going to be some great team. I think they're going to level out and they'll fight for a playoff spot in the end. But if they get there, I'm going to feel so much less confident with Chad Tracy, as much as I like him, than I would with Alex Cora. But then on the other hand, the other side of my brain, which doesn't work very well, but the other side of my brain is saying, would you have even gotten there with Cora the way things are going? But then the other side comes back and says, dude, it was April 25th. What are you talking about? Would you have gotten there? The season has barely started. But it's hard to think that way when things aren't just going bad. Disaster mode, complete disaster mode. Last night, Saturday night, that is peak Red Sox disaster, aside from being eliminated from playoff contention. It is peak disaster. And it's hard to know, like, did they make the right move? I think the way they went about it is obviously incorrect.
Yeah.
Terrible. We haven't even gotten to the way that they've treated the players. We'll touch on that. But this is the thing, Gordo. What you said, sometimes you need a new voice. It happened with Terry Francona. Probably considered by most Red Sox fans the best manager this team has ever had. And his voice got stale.
It happened with Bill fucking Belichick. Like, it happens to everybody. Every coach in every sport has a shelf life, and they all say it. Steve Kerr is going through it with the Warriors right now.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, great example. Like, it happens to everybody. And we can talk about the way that this was done and the timing of it, because I said it earlier in the podcast, but this happening in April was, in my opinion, not because they thought, man, we need to make this change in order to have a chance at turning our season around, and we have to do it now. Granted, maybe the energy of a new voice does help. I don't know. I don't know if it will. Most of the time, it doesn't work like that. But sometimes it does. But the thing that it's the power struggle. And that's, to me, when you look at, holy crap, they went from 0 to 100. They fired everybody. Look at the guys that they fired. They're all Cora guys. The guys that are left, all Breslow guys. Look at Andrew Bay. Like, the pitching was underperforming practically as much as the hitting. And when you look at how much better that group was, I would say they're underperforming way more relative to expectations than the hitting. Yet none of those guys went because Craig Breslow kept his guys.
Yeah, I mean, the pitching was supposed to be top 3. I'm not exaggerating, a top 3 group in Major League Baseball. The hitting, we've spoken about this before. I had them at 11th best. You had them at 15th. Pat was in between at 12th. That group, if they underperformed, it's much less surprising. Granted, the level at which they were underperforming was a bit surprising because that was probably the lowest you'll see a group like this ever get. Worst in Major League Baseball, or second worst. Shout out San Francisco for that one. But it's just, I don't mind the thought of Alex Cora not being the manager. That's not what bothers me. It's the timing and the way they went about it. And when I talk about the timing, I think the dumbest thing is they did it after a 17-1 win. Like, buddy,
Henry was in town. They were all there.
162 games in the season. One game is not going to change something this impactful. Joe?
Do we think, because going to your point, that this wasn't a decision that was made like right then and there, do we think that this was sort of like the Ranger Suarez starts, where he gets yanked after 70 pitches, and then Cedon as the leadoff guy with Roman hurt? Do we think that was maybe a little manipulation from Cora, kind of sensing like, hey, maybe I'm out the door? So not saying he's like trying to get back or whatever, but he's like, you know, if he was weighing the decision of, oh, do I keep Ranger in or do I take him out? Like he took him out instead.
I don't think the mid-game Ranger thing is kind of Cora jabbing. I don't think that is. But I said the other day, for the first time ever, I saw one of the I can't remember which lineup it was. Gordo, maybe you remember, but there was a lineup Cora put out, and I'm thinking, is this actually a message to the front office?
It was the second Yankee game when Roman ended up being hurt, but we didn't know he was hurt when they released it. I mean, I think Cora sends messages to the front office all the time, but my thing is, I just don't think it's like hey, I'm about to get fired, so this is a message. I think it's more of a, hey, get me help. Like with Heim, it was always get me help. Mm-hmm. I needed more than this. And that's the thing is with Cora and with Heim, he survived. Like credit to Cora, because if you think about it, how many times they've made/missed the playoffs in his time here? 18 made it, 19 missed, 20 wasn't here, 21 made it, 22, 23, 24 missed, 25 made it, and 26 we haven't gotten there yet, but it's a disaster. So that's 3 out of 8 seasons making it. He has been able to survive a lot. And Sammy?
I do think it's worth noting, though, that the Red Sox stuck with him after the suspension. So he did, in a way, owe them for not moving on, going elsewhere.
Oh, of course. But I'm saying they didn't owe him anything, and they respected him so much, and he was able to earn their trust so much that they wanted to keep him around. And the timing of this, to me, I keep going back to it's Craig jumping in front of what he saw as the potential for AC throwing him under the bus for the season, especially. And this is Craig's own words in the press conference, but he told the media that he acknowledged to Alex Cora that, hey, I gave you a tough offense to manage. This was a tough team to manage, and I'm acknowledging that. And now
get out.
Yeah, now get the hell out of town. But now that he is out of town and all of his guys are out of town, this is the first time since Dave Dombrowski was here that the entire organization is built in one guy's image. There is continuity and synergy throughout the organization, whether that be a good thing or a bad thing. But we're going to find out, because if it's a bad thing, then guess who's going to be held accountable? Because I'm sure as shit not going to be Chad Tracy, who just got thrown into the middle of a dumpster fire. It's going to be the guy that put that team on the field, got the other voices that disagreed with him out of the room, had only his voices. And if it gets worse or if it stays just as bad, the finger will obviously be pointed at Craig Breslow. And I think his seat would be hotter than fish grease.
Right. So for the people who didn't like Alex Cora, the people who didn't believe in Pete Fatsi, the people who didn't like Jason Varitek, all the other coaches, no more of that. There's no more excuses. It is all 100% a Craig Breslow team. I cringe a little bit when I say that. The fact of the matter is, he's the guy now. Red Sox fans, we have to give him a shot, whether you believe in him or not. I think it's pretty clear. I'm skeptical. We don't have a choice. It's a Craig Breslow team, and we are about to find out if this is going to work or not. There are no more scapegoats for Robo Craig.
Yep. And we're going to see. And I feel bad because Chad Tracy, I mean, good for him. He's getting an incredible opportunity. And honestly, I'm not going to say a win-win, but it's an only win opportunity. It's a win or nothing opportunity. If everything goes to shit, no one's going to be looking at him. Maybe he won't keep the job, but he's not going to lose any shine as a managerial candidate. And if you don't know anything about Chad Tracy, everyone who's ever played for him, coached with him, covered him as a media member, everyone has awesome things to say about him. And it doesn't go like that for everybody. There's been managers and minor league teams that are covered by people in those markets, and they're just blah. And with Chad Tracy, it's been nothing but great things said. And maybe he'll manage with a certain hunger to earn that job in a full-time capacity. Maybe a hunger that Alex Cora, as great of a manager as he was, I mean, understandable when you're in that role for 7 years and you've made it through so much, it kind of feels like that job is yours until you don't want it to be anymore. Whereas Chad Tracy, he's got to go out and earn it. And maybe that'll inject some energy into this team. I don't know. Maybe I'm grasping at straws here, but he is going to have to manage like his life is on the line because it is.
Gordo, question for you. Do you agree, best case scenario, Chad Tracy is the manager next year? Because that would mean that he did such a good job that they feel comfortable keeping him around?
Not only do I think best case scenario because of that, because you're right. If the Red Sox go on a run here and make the playoffs, obviously he's going to be the manager. If granted, in the press conference, which we could talk about in a little bit, they didn't guarantee him shit.
Nor should they.
He's the interim. I don't think they should guarantee him anything, but they should at least give the confidence that, like, hey, yeah, Chad Tracy's going to be the guy the rest of the year. And if he's not, it's because he's getting fired, not because we had him up here for 3 weeks and then we hired Johnny douchebag to replace him. Like, no, like he's here. He made the trip. He's setting the lineups. He's the manager. It's his staff now. We can reevaluate at the end of the year, but that's the key for me is the end of the year.
I mean, Johnny douchebag has a fairly good record as a manager, so I don't think it's out of the question that he gets a look, but
yeah, but that's an indie ball. It doesn't like who gives a shit.
Typical Johnny douchebag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think there's almost no chance that there's another manager this year. I think the interim tag is for next year. It'll be Trad Tracy. That was tough. Chad Tracy for the rest of the season, or Trad Tracy.
It's a tough name to say fast and over again. You do mess it up, Chad Tracy, and
Ready?
It's not.
Hold on, Chad Tracy, Ooh, Chad Tracy, Chad Tracy, Chad. I can't do it. Say it 3 times.
I bet I can do it. All right. Chad Tracy, Chad Tracy, Chad Tracy.
Nice. Chad Tracy, Chad Tracy, Chad Tracy. Okay. I'm not as good as you, but
God, I do wonder when this first became a thought. And I'm sure Craig Breslow has had the idea in his head for a long time, but I'm not talking about like a thought. I'm talking about something that like he actually thought he could execute. Because in spring training, you're coming off an 89-win season. You made the playoffs. You're expecting to get off to a fine start. And if they got off to a fine start, you can't fire the manager. And you certainly can't fire the manager and his whole staff.
No, I think it started in spring training. I heard something off the record that I'm not going to share. I think this goes back to spring training. Just there were rumblings. Maybe not to this degree.
If they started 10 or if they started 17 and 10, it's just not even a thought. Like maybe there was disagreements. I'm sure it's been reported. There's been disagreements and they haven't seen eye to eye and their philosophies are different. But in terms of actually firing,
I thought about actually pulling the trigger and doing it. Sure. But I think that this goes back.
Oh,
I hear things. Yeah. But never know. But I do know. It's been going on for a while. It's not good, man. The communication in this Red Sox organization is flat out bad. It's just, it seems like nobody's on the same page. And today we find out, I can't remember if this was on WEI because I did half radio, half TV today watching. But the hitting philosophy is different in AAA compared to the big leagues. Like that's the kind of thing where I just throw my hands up. How is that possible?
But that's what they're trying to fix here. Like if you
how did it ever get that way? How did it ever get to that point? You have teaching different things at different levels, and now we see Marcelo's struggling a little bit. Roman took a while to click last year. It's doing it to a lesser degree this year.
To me, Sammy, the way when I see that stuff, I think this is an organization that made exceptions because it had a superstar manager in Alex Cora. And when you have a superstar manager, that guy gets to hire voices on his staff that he trusts.
Mhm.
And when you're going to fire Alex Cora, you're going to fire all those guys. I guess in a sense, I'm not saying it makes sense because I would have never done this in April. But if you are going to do it, doing it the way that they did it, not even just for Breslow's self-preservation, but like if you're going to fire Alex Cora and appoint one of your guys, you might as well have voices that align with that and create synergy throughout the organization. And then for ownership's sake, if it doesn't work, like we know where this is going.
Maybe that just speaks to the power struggle in the organization because like we spoke about when Heim was the GM, I'm just going to use GM for all these guys. I'm not going to call them by their actual title. When Heim was the GM, it felt like Cora had power over Heim, but then Breslow flexes yesterday that he has power over Cora. I think there just has to be more involvement with ownership, kind of laying down these lines like, hey, this is how we do it here. We're the Boston Red Sox. I don't think this ever happens with the Yankees. Does this ever happen?
No, because it's an obvious, you got Hal, you got Cashman, and you got Boone, and it goes in that order, and they know it goes in that order. Whereas with the Red Sox, and understanding it's because Alex Cora did so many great things, but it really did fuck shit up because it created a situation where it went ownership, manager, GM, and it can't work like that. And Alex Cora, as great as he is and was, he did have too much power in this organization for a manager, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. There has to be a set structure, and I think that just speaks to ownership's involvement or lack of involvement would probably be a better term. This wasn't the case years ago. It didn't happen like this. When I hate to be the John Henry guy, but a fish rots from the head down, as they say.
Yeah, and you can look at the way they handled the firing too. I mean, I'm not even talking about the coaches for hire van and not like doing it in the lobby and not speaking to the players the night before. Like, and you can look at it, Sammy.
Well, I just want to say the coaches for hire thing. If you're listening, and you're like, what are they talking about? When it was the coaches leaving, right? Got on the bus.
Yeah, the coaches got in a van like they're in the fucking Bachelor and they just got sent home.
Yeah. So the coaches who just got fired get in a van, and the name of the LLC, which is written on the side of the van, I kid you not, is Coaches for Hire. That, like I said on radio today, I was like, maybe I should start believing in God, because there's no way that something like that just happens. That is, I'm sad that this all happened, but that is so fucking funny. They got in a van that says Coaches for Hire. You could, if you wrote that into a comedy, they'd say, no, that's hack. That's too obvious. But it happened in real life.
I screamed when I saw it because it was just,
what did it sound like?
Ah! Ah! Something like that. Ah!
Wow. Hey,
ah!
Yeah, good on Cotillo for finding that one.
Yeah, no,
he must have been so happy when he saw that, like gold, just absolute gold. 5,000 likes on that tweet.
Should be more, to be honest with you. It should be 50,000. But when I'm talking about John Henry and ownership's handling of it, I'm talking about they fly out to Baltimore, they get there on the day of the firing on that morning. They don't speak to the players. Then the next day they have a meeting. Craig Breslow speaks for like a few minutes, and then I think Chad Tracy was the only other one who spoke, and I don't think Sam or John Henry said a word the entire meeting. Sam spoke to the meeting. John Henry spoke to nobody. And I mean, it left players fending for them. Like the media is now asking the players questions. They're asking for reactions. The players have basically gotten no explanation. I'll read you some quotes. Like here's Trevor's Story, a few different quotes from Story. He said, they spoke. There just have to be more conversations had. I wouldn't say it was satisfactory. We'll have our talk. We haven't had it yet. Then he said, obviously it's kind of up in the air. Sammy?
Breslow is staying with the team as they head to Toronto. So don't want to completely bury him for this yet. That sounds like a guy who plans on speaking to these guys, but we know how it goes with Robo Brez. It might not be a good conversation, or a human conversation, I should say.
Well, the truth is, and I'll continue these quotes, but it's going to be hard to explain this to these guys, like the guys who liked AC. Like the clubhouse liked and respected Alex Cora. And if you're Craig Breslow, you can't sit there and say, well, he was going to throw me under the bus next month, so I had to do it first. Like, that's not an explanation that you have in your bag.
Can you imagine being Garrett Crochet? He's about to be on his 7th manager in his 7th season. He is, on his 7th manager in his 7th season in Major League Baseball. That's crazy. He might be the only guy unaffected by this because it's all he's known. Even though he
Or-
had a good quote that I can pull up later on.
Or if you're Roman and Marcelo, you get called up not even a year ago, and in that time, Rafael Devers, the face of the franchise, is traded. Alex Bregman, your mentor, leaves, and now Alex Cora, the manager, who, especially in Roman's case, you signed a decade-long extension, expecting this guy to be your manager for a significant portion of that, and he's gone pretty much instantly. Like, what a
On the bright side, at least for those young guys and a lot of the other guys, not just Roman and Marcelo, they're already familiar with Chad Tracy. Chad Tracy.
All right, let me finish these story quotes. Next thing he said, obviously it's kind of up in the air what the true direction is. Those are conversations that need to be had, and they'll be had today and onward going forward too. I came here to win, and I came here to be successful. Some of the direction needs to be cleared up a little bit, in my opinion. It's just tough for the guys that were let go because they're some of the best coaches in the world, and they care more than anybody. Just felt like they didn't get a fair shot at it. And that's coming from Trevor Story, and we have never heard Trevor Story say any kind of anything. And Trevor Story's been here through underwhelming deadlines. He's been here through losing seasons. He's been here through winning seasons when maybe they didn't get enough at the deadline. He's been here when they lost in the playoffs, and never have we heard anything like that said by Trevor Story. Everything stays in house. If he had anything bad to say, it certainly was not being said to a media member. So it is surprising.
Mm-hmm. I think Bradfo brought up a good point today on radio when he mentioned that Fatsy specifically was the hitting coach who was by Trevor Story's side last year when he had that May. He was, remember, in April, he started hot, and then in May, he was legitimately the worst hitter in all of Major League Baseball. And people were saying DFA him, bench him, this, and that. And then, he wasn't amazing last year, but he got out of the funk, 25 home runs, ended up leading the team in RBIs and stole 30 bags. So that's his guy along with Alex Cora. I'm sure. I mean, it is odd to see Trevor Story speaking out, but if there's any time to do it, I think now's the time. And people can say they don't care what he has to say all they want. That's the leader of the team. Him, Whitlock, I guess Crochet, throw him in there too, even though he's young. Like, it's
Contreras.
The leader. Contreras, yeah, the leadership is thin, and that's one of the guys. So it should matter to you if you're a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, and you mentioned Whitlock, another guy who is never. And when I watched it on video, it didn't sound as bad as it looked. But this was the quote. But yet again, another guy who's never going to say a bad word about anybody. He said, "Listen, they made it very clear that we get paid to play baseball, and we just need to focus on playing baseball." And when you read it, it comes off as "shut up and dribble."
Yeah, I was going to say that is the shut up and dribble to a T, which, again, it's just more examples of the Red Sox not treating humans like humans. And, sometimes that doesn't matter in baseball, but it seems like right now it does matter. These guys are, they're upset, and I don't blame them. Joe?
I do want to add like a little bit of context to that because, Gordo, like you said, when you watch it, it's different. I'm pretty sure the question was related to the personal relationships that Whitlock is going to have. Like he's saying like, oh, I'm still going to have these relationships with Cora and Fatsy or whoever. He was like, I still talk to Dave Bush or whatever. So that is what the answer was in relation to.
Right. And like I do feel bad for these guys, and I do feel like for a lot of them, if not all of them, the carpet was pulled out from under them. At the same time, and maybe this is me being a little bit harsh, so sorry if I'm being harsh here, but when we talk about, remember, we talked about the power rankings of reasons why this happened, reasons why there's 6 games under 500, 11 and 17, and we talked about the offense that was put on the field, and we talked about guys underperforming. And another thing that happened, like they went to Trevor Story to talk, they went to Roman Anthony to talk. Roman said all the right things, nothing noteworthy as he always does, which is great for him, doing the right thing. They went to Duran, and he basically waved them off and wouldn't acknowledge them and gave them side eye. That's at least what was written. Like it looked like, it sounded, to be honest with you, pretty disrespectful. And to me, and again, I apologize if this is harsh, but with Duran and Story, I feel bad because I know they're big Alex Cora guys, but at the same time, those are 2 of the biggest underachievers on this team. And if they played if they played the way they did even last year, like we talk about wanting Duran to be the Duran he was 2 years ago. We want Story to be the guy that he was in Colorado. If they played even close to the way they played last year, this team has more wins. Alex Cora is probably still in the manager's chair. So I'm not trying to put the firing on those guys because it's a whole team of dudes. Like again, we talked about the pitchers underperforming, but I'm just saying the players on the field underperforming are why we're in this spot. So I do, in a sense, have a hard time generating sympathy, especially in the case like Duran, where he seems to disrespect the media in the way that he did today.
I'm getting so tired of Jarren Duran's crap. Like, the optics are so unbelievably bad with this guy. Not only is he underperforming, then he does the thing you spoke about just now, Gordo, where he just side-eyes the media, waves them up. Hey, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm upset. Everybody's upset. You know who the media spoke to right after that? 21-year-old Roman Anthony, who took it like a man, spoke to the media, also wasn't happy, but he did it anyway. But Jarren Duran, no, I can't do it. I'm Jarren Duran. I'm upset. Give me a fucking break, man. I'm so goddamn tired of the antics. And I appreciate what he did. I appreciate the mental health stuff. That's very important, but that's not a get out of jail free card for all the other stuff. It is so frustrating to see a guy act like this. A very talented player, by the way. This is a good baseball player. I can't stand the bullshit. Here's a Garrett Crochet quote, and he kind of agrees with you about blaming the players. He says, Crochet on the firings yesterday, we've been playing terrible, and it kind of feels like those guys paid the cost of our own crime. So there you have it. Crochet saying it's on us. We've been playing poorly. They paid the price. And for a lot of these guys, it's the cold, harsh reality. This is a business. End of sentence. It's a business. You can't get caught up in your feelings. Guys get shipped out all the time. We grew up with the Nomar Garciaparra thing. The ultimate example of it. The face of the team. Everyone had a Garciaparra number 5 jersey or jersey. Everybody. And he gets shipped out. But then they win the World Series. It's a business. It's friggin' harsh, and it always has been and always will be. And that's the tough part when you're analyzing this stuff, is because these are people who get caught in the crosshairs, and this is what happens.
Yeah. And AC's out of town, and I just I'm trying to figure out what I hope is next for him. Like I guess I do want to see him manage again, but I don't know if I want to. Like with Rafi, I almost want to see him kill. Like I do want to see him just kill it because I love Rafi. And so I guess I want the same for AC. He did a lot. But again, I'm trying to figure out what's next for him.
Well, with Rafi, I was a little pissed at the way he handled everything. So if he played well, screw you, Craig, look what you did. But if he played poorly like he is now, I'm like, whatever. I don't like how you handled it. With AC, I'm like, I don't think he did anything egregiously wrong. Like, yeah, the team underperformed for a month, but he also brought them a World Series, and he's been way more good than bad. And it's not like he did the Rafi thing where he was being publicly, what'd you say, Johnny Douchebag? He wasn't acting like Johnny Douchebag from Indie Ball.
No,
he's doing his job.
From Indie Ball is the guy who's, I forget. I think he was going to come in and replace somebody, though.
No, Johnny Douchebag pitched for the Long Island Ducks today.
Will you guys leave Johnny DeLuca alone? Leave him alone, for God's sake.
Johnny fucking DeLuca.
Do you think Alex Cora manages another team? First, we'll start with Ever.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think he manages another team this year?
No.
Okay, so you're not in the Mets Phillies this year.
I think he's going to want to do a long kind of interview session with these teams after the shit he went through with the Red Sox. He's going to really want to talk to these teams and hear about what they plan on doing in the present and the future. He doesn't want to be in another situation like this. So I think the hiring process for him is going to be slow, but not in a bad way.
It's just tough though, because like if the Phillies or the Mets fire their manager, they're going to hire a new guy. I mean, I guess they could interim somebody for the remainder of the year and then talk in the offseason. But I don't know.
You don't want to work for the Phillies though. The Phillies, like, that's a team with a dim future. The Mets, yeah, of course, you would love to manage the Mets if you're Alex Cora. That's a great job. But the Phillies, like,
he's got a great relationship with Dombrowski. That's a team that invests in veterans. They've got a lot of veterans on that team. Like that's a team Alex Cora could do some shit with.
Yeah, in 2026. But what happens after 2026? All those guys are getting old. They're all under contract. That's like the ultimate bloated contract team example. Maybe they find a way out of it. It's just very much up in the air what the future of the Philadelphia Phillies
looks like. I agree with that.
Whereas with the Mets, I'm like, dude, these guys, not only do they have a good big league team, I know they're struggling, but look at that roster and look at their farm as well. little different.
Yeah, I still think that if the Phillies fired Rob Thompson today, like Alex Cora could sign a 3-year deal and it would be
Is Joey Cora with the Pirates still?
Tigers.
Nah, AJ Hinch is already there. Never mind. That would have been a good fit.
I also think that he's said that, I forget if he said it or if we've just never seen it, but I don't think he wants to coach with his brother.
Okay.
I don't know that for sure. That's just
Well, we talk about this being a business and there being weird dynamics. You don't want to do something like that. Like if a family member gets fired. No thanks.
True. Next thing I want to talk about is Jason Varitek. So this one, so they announced that they were not firing him and reassigning him. And I tweeted that out, and it was one of the like I sent maybe 150 tweets in the last 24 hours. And that one may have been the one that got the most or the second most attention. People love Jason Varitek, and they're obsessed with his career arc here. And a lot of them wanted him to be the manager. You and I have said that we don't think that should ever happen here. Why? I don't know. Why is Jason Varitek cared about as much, if not more, than Alex Cora in this iteration of his career? As a player, obviously Jason Varitek was Jason Varitek, but I mean, he was a minimal coach here, and now he's gonna not be coaching anymore, and you're not really gonna notice it. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. I don't know.
It's what he did as a player. He was great. He's the last guy to be the official captain of the Boston Red Sox. He had the A-Rod thing where he punched him in the face. It's just, he is one of the faces of the team that broke the curse. He's been around. He's kind of the last remaining member up until yesterday that is still with the team. You know, there's a lot of good memories that come along with the Jason Varitek name here in New England. And to see him, the way that they tried to save face. So 2 ways to look at it. Here's the generous way. I spoke to you about this earlier today, Gordo. I don't think this is what happened, but there's a chance. Maybe the Red Sox said, hey, we love and respect what you've done. We are going to offer you a reassignment so that you can just walk away and save some face. That may have happened. That's not what I think happened, though. What I think happened are these guys are a bunch of weenies in the Red Sox front office, and they were too scared of the blowback to fire a legend like Jason Varitek, who, Gordo, as you said, people love here in Boston and throughout New England. So they, quote unquote, reassigned him, which is shockingly stupid. A guy who's been with the organization since 1997, won multiple World Series. He's been a coach on the team for years, and he's been in the dugout for years. You want to give him a reassignment to something smaller? Like, it's another example of the Red Sox thinking everyone else is stupid and that they're smarter than everyone. Yeah. I'm not. Don't eat the garbage.
Right through this shit. Like, yes. What's going to happen here is they're going to say you can be a special assistant to the GM, just like Pedro is, man. Like, you could be that, and he's going to say, "Shove it up your ass." No, go fuck yourself.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down, and that's going to be that. So essentially, yeah, he wasn't fired; he quit.
The first explanation is totally what they want you to think. And of course, and I am leaving the door open. Maybe that's what happened.
You should shut that door. Shut the door.
But I'm not an idiot. I don't think that happened.
Shut the door.
Don't eat the garbage, Red Sox fans. Don't eat the garbage. I still had people commenting, John Henry's the winningest owner. Dude, I hate you.
God. On the topic of 04 guys, what do you think Theo's role in all of this was? Or do you think he was not really that involved?
Zero. He's not babysitting these guys. He's not a Red Sox guy anymore. He's Fenway Sports Group. He's being groomed to become an owner or something like that. I don't think he has anything to do with this, sadly.
I bet he was consulted. I don't think he played a big role in it. Obviously, he would be in the picture walking to dinner from the hotel if he played a significant role. But I do think that this is one of those things. And Theo has
What's that mean,
managers.
Though? What's that mean, though? Consulted. I'm not saying you're wrong, but what do you mean by consulted? Like, hey, Theo, what do you think about this? He's like, oh, shit, it's crazy. All right, thanks, Theo.
I would have to know more about their dynamic, which has remained not shockingly private. But, yeah, I do think when considering major decisions like the Garrett Crochet trade, which we have heard Theo was involved in, something like that. Theo does have experience firing managers and knows what blowback is likely to come from that. I don't know if any of he didn't fire Joe Madden in the middle of the season or anything, but that was a That's a tough guy to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So he has been through it. I'm sure he was consulted, but I don't. If you're sitting there thinking that Theo pushed Craig Breslow in this direction, no, I mean, I'm sure Craig Breslow was like, "Hey, listen, I'm thinking of doing this. Do you think it's possible? Can I get through this? Whatever." And probably was yes.
Theo's like, no, dude, everyone's gonna hate you. And Craig's like, all right, if that's it. What do you think, Gordo? Do you have any faith in Craig being a good operative GM?
You know, it's gonna be a longer conversation for another day, but I do have some faith in the sense that he's a young GM, still very inexperienced and learning as he goes, and he's a really smart guy. I hope that his vision for how a good team should be put together is right, because it's not something that we've seen in Boston before. But yeah, even though I think that if this goes to shit, he will be fired, that does not mean that I think that he should be. Like, it's going to take a lot for me to want him fired after all of this, even though I think he's handled this like shit.
Right.
I don't think
we know how it
necessarily
works.
Yeah, exactly.
So where I'm at with him, I believe in his vision. I think he's a really smart baseball guy. I don't know if he's good at doing the job, though. I don't know if he's good at communicating with other people in his role from other organizations and actually getting trades done, getting free agents signed, speaking with agents. Like, I don't know if he as a person is well equipped to handle this. And that's why we keep referring to him as the GM. He might need an actual GM to work under him. Yes.
Well, first of all, yes. But second of all, are those things, because again, like I said, he's inexperienced, he's young, he jumped from a much lower level into the role. Are those acquired skills? Like, are those acquirable skills? Because to me, if you fire the guy, like we talked about before, you're not going to be able to just get like any of these David Stearns, any of these really elite GMs, the best GMs in the sport that you want to attract. You're not Andrew Friedman. You're not going to be able to get these guys. You're gonna basically have to dip into that pool again. So you're probably better off just dealing with the warts of the growth of a guy like Breslow, rather than starting from square one with another guy, as long as you believe he's smart enough to do it. But I don't know. Yeah. Again, probably a question for another day.
Breslow,
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, I do think you can acquire those skills, but it still requires an ability to communicate. And to this point, Breslow has shown negative ability to do that. Also, gross that you're covering him in growths and warts now.
It's just part of the job.
Ugh, bumpy Craig.
I want to talk a little bit about Chad Tracy, but I'm trying to look through and make sure that I cover everything that I want to get done here. Oh, okay. Question for you. I think this might be the last one I got. Was this a panic move?
No, I think this was premeditated.
I think so too. How much it was premeditated, we could talk about, and we'll probably learn about. Like, there's going to be hit pieces galore from both sides. Probably
we're not even.
It's going to be insane how many of these coaches are talking to media members, telling all these crazy ass stories. The front office is going to get banged. Like, they are going to get crushed.
Yeah, as they should. They've handled this unbelievably poorly. I do think that we're gonna get this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're gonna get so much more drama, and as podcasters, we're all for the drama. So go talk shit about each other, guys. So then we can talk shit about you guys talking shit about each other. That is the circle of life.
That's the thing, is if this team doesn't turn it around, that shit's what keeps Play Tessie interesting.
Yeah, we're rooting for the drama. If this team sucks, we need drama. I'd prefer the team just be good, though.
I tweeted yesterday that this is the most dramatic organization in sports, and I mean that. Like, for the love of God, can we please just be normal once? Please.
I think
never.
The Cowboys got the Red Sox beat. They're very dramatic.
They are very dramatic. We might be worse, though. The Cowboys, it's because of like the fan base. Like, in terms of just purely the organization and the people that run it. I don't know. Jerry Jones is a freak. I agree, but I mean, does it get worse? Dude, it's every year with this shit.
Wait. What are we talking about? The Patriots. We're fucking Patriots fans. That's a dramatic ass team. We got a new scandal every goddamn year in between all the winning.
It's weird, though. It's like there's all these scandals, but at the same time, outside of the Gerard Mayo era, it feels like they're pretty buttoned up and well run. But like, there are all these scandals in the meantime. Like, there's murders. There's
like, out here killing people, and you're talking about firing a manager. Yeah, there's murders, there's deflated balls, gates, all these gates.
There's spas. There's like Massage parlors.
Elderly men getting. Oh, come on, this is crazy. The Patriots are more dramatic than the Red Sox. Red Sox are dramatic.
I feel like, okay,
Patriots-
here's what it is. I feel like the Red Sox are dramatic by choice.
Yeah, it's self-inflicted, whereas the Patriots, a lot of it is like, actually, no, the Patriots are self-inflicted too. Bob Kraft walked his ass into that spot.
Yeah, but you're with him, he's hoping to not get caught. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna keep this under the carpet forever. With the Red Sox, they're firing Alex Cora, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have to go into damage control right now because of what we're doing. We're gonna trade Devers, we're gonna fire Cora, not let out, we're not gonna re-sign Alex Bregman. We're gonna do all these
Sox
things.
It's like the Red Sox commit a crime and then they strip down naked and walk away from the crime scene. They're like, oh, got us. We're naked. Not at a spa, though. Just in Kenmore Square.
Over
Come on,
under,
Gordo.
over under 1 year, Chad Tracy has this job.
I'll say over. He knows the organization. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be thrilled with the interest in the job, so I'll go with Big Trace. We need a nickname for. Does he have a nickname?
Chad.
The Chad Sox.
They brought in 2 Chad. They fired the whole coaching staff and brought in 2 Chads.
Yeah, they're the Chad Sox. His nickname is Trace.
They literally brought in the AAA manager and the AA manager. You thought there was turmoil at the big league level? Well, let's just strip away the managers from the top 2 teams in the farm system. And like Franklin Arias hitting all these homers every day. We're going to take away his manager too.
Here comes the Chads.
He's got to get used to it for when he gets to the majors. Like we got to,
strip them of their managers. And then again, strip down and run through Kenmore Square.
That's
Lord.
the
Red Sox way. Baby. You think John Henry would do that if they won the World Series?
I don't know. John Henry would probably be in Europe for that.
He'd probably find out the next morning that the Red Sox won the World Series and he'd go, hooray.
Yeah.
Did
Well, to
Nomar
answer-
hit a home run?
To answer my own question, I'll go a step. I think Chad Tracy is actually the next manager of the Red Sox. I think he's gonna be the guy. I
Shed
think
the tag.
Yeah, I think he's gonna shed the tag. I don't know whether or not I think he's going to shed the tag in the middle of this year or not, but I think he makes it through the year and is hired in a full-time capacity, given an extension, all that stuff, and he's just the guy. And honestly, I think it's deserved. I don't think it's like Breslow has all his guys and all this. I get it. But Chad Tracy, again, this is not just some dude that Breslow brought in from Driveline that no one's ever heard of, and he put him at the manager spot. It's not even his guy, Andrew Bailey, like his best friend, the only major coach that kept his job. Shocker. Like this is a guy who's been well regarded from everyone that's ever talked to him. Players all have relationships with him. All the ones that do speak glowingly of him. Even the guys like Trevor Story, who's like super pissed about this whole thing, have a great relationship with the guy. Like I think he's going to do a good job. And honestly, even if the team doesn't turn it around, I do think that he's probably the guy. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Fair. Well said.
Is there anything else? Do we miss anything?
No, I want to scare the boomers with my enough said.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so my enough said. I know there's a vocal sector of Red Sox fans who are generally my parents' age, we'll say, who don't like the new wave of analytics. They don't like Driveline, the hitting company. What would you call it? Like a
baseball analytics and training facility?
Facility, company, organization, whatever. But every team uses them. And a lot of those people wanted Cora gone because they thought he was too much into the analytics and all that. This is your worst nightmare if you're one of those people, because the only hitting coach who remains from the old group is a Driveline guy. And they're bringing up more Driveline guys. And Andrew Bailey is a very analytics-heavy pitching coach. So you're about to get a boatload of these new wave style coaching analyst type guys with the Boston Red Sox. So I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying if you're against that stuff for whatever reason, you probably just don't know enough about it. This is your worst nightmare. Welcome to hell. Go Sox.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Everyone, it's so funny. Like the people who are in our comment sections on Twitter begging for firings all the time are also the same people who despise Driveline. And it's very funny that they got the firings that they wanted, but
Driveline. What's the name? Soteropoulos? Very Greek name.
Yeah, something like that.
And then coming up from AAA, another name.
Guy. I forget
Craig,
his name.
Craig something also has the name Craig. I don't know. But either way, it's going to be a lot of Driveline approach. And honestly, I know I'm joking around saying like this is your worst nightmare. Every big league team uses Driveline guys. The Dodgers use Driveline guys. So if every team is using it and you from your couch are saying, I don't think this works, maybe, just maybe, reflect on that a bit. Sit on it, come back, maybe give Driveline guys a chance because all the big league teams are.
It's got to be like a middle ground thing though, because the Driveline guys, they're really good at increasing exit. Like you want to hit the ball harder,
damage.
There you go. Yeah, but if you're talking about like winning a baseball game, situational stuff, the things that we have seen the Red Sox struggle with, the Driveline guys, that's not their priority. And I think that's been something that Red Sox coaches, the ones that are not here anymore, have complained about, is that guys come up from the minors and like they've increased their exit velos and their under the hood stuff looks great, but then they come up and they don't know how to win a baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff is probably still like those issues that you wanted Alex Cora gone because you thought those issues were him and his coaching staff, whereas they're probably much deeper rooted and those deep roots are still there.
Do you know if you walk into a Driveline baseball facility and you say the word bunt, they're legally allowed to murder you?
Wow, don't tell that to Wilson Contreras.
I can't believe he even squared around to bunt. That
what is that? The second time in a week?
Oh, no more. It's like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I think crazy. He just does it with no intent to actually bunt. I think he's taking on that pitch and he wants to get the third baseman to move around. But regardless, I don't like it. Just fucking hit home runs like you did today, Wilson. That's my hitting advice. I come from Driveline too. Hit home runs.
I come from Driveline too.
I also come from Driveline. Well, Gordo, actually, you said a mix is the best. They had a mix. Pete Fatsi, old school type guy. The rest of the guys, Pete Fatsi and his guys, old school type. Then you have the Driveline guys. Now it's all Driveline.
Yeah, I guess it's a tough balance because you want to have a mix, but they also have to all be on the same page, and it doesn't really sound like people were on the same page in this organization.
Nobody,
miscommunication and dysfunction.
Nobody in this organization is on the same page. They're all scattered throughout the book.
Yeah. My enough said. I felt weird coming up with enough said about anything outside of this because it just feels weird to talk about literally anything else. Even the game today, it felt weird to talk about. And shout out Connolly Early for being good and helping win them that ball game. So I just did talk about it. So my enough said is going to be a question. I want you to tell me, and I'll tell you as well, but you can go first. How will you look back on the Alex Cora era as manager of the Red Sox?
Oh, fondly. Definitely will look back on the Alex Cora era fondly. The first thing I'll think about is 2018, most dominant Red Sox team we've ever seen. 2021 wild card game was my personal favorite game I've ever attended in person. I haven't been to a ton of playoff games. They're very expensive, but that game was incredible. 2025, that team was a lot of fun. And through the bad parts of his tenure, I never thought that he was the problem. It was always the talent on the roster and the guys building the roster. And I think that was a consensus. So Alex Cora, one of the best managers the Red Sox have ever had. He's third most winningest. I cannot talk today. I'm having a rough pod.
Understandable. I mean, we did 3 hours of radio and this just happened last night and we had to mentally wrap our heads around it to do 3 hours of radio, watch a game, and then jump on here and do another hour.
I'm spitting everywhere like a crackhead. I'm like trying to talk. But yeah, I'll look back on Alex Cora fondly. And us personally, even though we didn't interact with him a ton, he was nice to us, which I personally appreciate as a Red Sox fan. I'm always so nervous going up to the guys. So nice guy. I wish him the best. I'm excited to see what he does next.
Joe?
I'm going to put a little nuff said on Gordo's nuff said. What are your guys' favorite?
Whoa, hold on, Joe. I still got to give my reflection on the Alex Cora era.
Okay.
If you're going to give another upset, I'll do this first and then you go.
Let the guy reflect.
Let me reflect. For the love of God, it's my enough said.
Oh, reflect.
Okay, I'm going to reflect now. Yeah, and whenever I think of the Alex Cora era, I'm going to think of two things. I'm going to think of winning the World Series in 18. I remember the John Farrell era. He got that World Series in 13, and it bought him a lot of time. But for a lot of it, he didn't really feel like he had a grasp on how to manage a baseball game, and certainly did not have a grasp on how to manage people. The communication skills were up in the like. Everyone had a thing to say about John Farrell, and that was never the case with Alex Cora. Always had a command of the clubhouse. Everyone who played for him loved him, and he won you a World Series in 18. Left before 2020, took the suspension, took it on the chin, came back 2021 and had a new lease on life, it felt like, and got that team to the playoffs. And people forget how crazy it was that they got to the playoffs that year and made a run in the playoffs that year after the season they had in 2020. Alex Cora jumped right back in, earned those guys respect back. Like we talk about how hard it's going to potentially be for Mike Vrabel to earn his team's respect back. For Alex Cora, way harder, and he did it, and he got that team to the playoffs. And he got us, I don't want to say got us through some tough years, but like when I think back on the Alex Cora era, 18 and 21, 2 years where he took over for someone else and got us to places that I don't think we necessarily knew we could get to. And I'm always going to be appreciative of that. And again, like the third most winningest manager, he did a lot of great things here. So much love to AC. Just because they're moving on does not tarnish any, like, I get it, they're moving on, but everything that happened, and he had an incredibly successful Red Sox tenure and remains one of the brightest baseball minds and will have success when he moves on elsewhere, if that's what he chooses to do. Sammy?
Joe, before you jump in, I want to add one thing. When Alex Cora's Red Sox teams were performing poorly or below expectation, it also felt like he had the same frustration that the fans had. Like he would keep it even keel in the media, but he seemed pissed. And I mean that in a complimentary way. I don't like when guys seem laissez-faire about the team doing poorly. And I never really felt that way about Alex Cora. I know some people did because of the way he spoke after the games, but when you looked at him in the dugout, it never felt like he didn't care about the team losing. It felt like he was frustrated as well. And I will always appreciate that. I love that in a coach. I want to feel that they are also frustrated about the team that I care so much about as a fan when they're underperforming.
And he also elevated those teams too. Like we did not have much hope at all going into some of those seasons, and those teams were in it through the debt. Like 23, 24, we didn't think those teams were going anywhere. And yeah, maybe they didn't like buy a lot at the deadline, but they got to the deadline and basically could not sell because the team was playing well enough to August, which I don't think any of us thought they could do. So again, just massive success. And I wish this year didn't go as bad as it's gone. Like I in a perfect world, they're winning and Alex Cora is at the helm and he gets to be the manager as long as he wants to be. And then when he doesn't want to be manager anymore, then we can have a discussion as to if he's going to move to another role or if he's going to move on and do something else. Like I wish it could have gone like that, but just because it didn't end exactly the way we would have wanted it to doesn't really change the overall accomplishment of what he did as a manager here. All right, Joe, let's get your enough said. Let's hear it.
Okay. Branching off of that, this might be hard because there's, as you said, 7 seasons to look back on. Can you guys think of one move or quote or just anything notable that Cora did that is your favorite? Like your favorite Alex Cora moment as from his time as Red Sox manager?
For me, it's when he coined do damage. That was the coolest shit ever. The whole do damage team. Pretty sure he came up with that, right? He said that in an interview and it became a whole thing. Do damage.
So,
yeah. That team was so cool. And then the Yankees tried to do the same thing with we're savages and it just didn't work. Those were the days.
Mine is the Eduardo Nunez pinch hit home run. That move alone took so much preparation. Like Nunez knew exactly the spot that he could potentially get in the game for innings in advance, if not even before the game. Like, it's just, you want to talk about Alex Cora's communication that made him so successful on the job. That is the primary example. And you're talking about in the biggest of games, having a guy who's ready, knows the exact moment he's going to be put into and succeeded because of that. So yeah, that was incredible. And he hit that entire playoff run. He batted 1,000 with his manager decisions, the lineups, the lineup changes, the bullpen usage with the starting pitchers coming out of the pen.
That's what I wanted to add. The way he used specifically Porcello and Chris Sale out of the bullpen. The coolest thing ever. the end of the 2018 World Series where Chris Sale comes out of the bullpen in the 9th inning like the fucking Grim Reaper and just murders the Dodgers, and he makes Manny Machado bend the knee like the weenie he is. I yearn for that. I want more of that. Fuck.
Joe, what about yours? You got one?
Mine is the Nunez one too. I think.
It's the best.
Yeah, it really is such a great move to. I mean, first off, to give Devers, who was a kid at the time, the start, and then have the balls to say, "Hey, Nunez, you're going in," and then Nunez just cranks one over the monster. It was sick, absolutely sick.
Yep. You guys think he's still going to donate $20K to the Jimmy Fund if someone gets 20 homers?
I think so.
Of course he is.
I think he will too. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird.
The bigger question is, are they going to keep those Sullivan Tire ads going where he's talking to all those kids?
Yeah, you got to pull that. You got to pull him. I feel like you got to pull him. It's weird. It's just a weird viewing experience. It's weird.
What if they superimposed Chad Tracy's head onto Alex Cora?
It's not like he's like disgraced. I don't know. It's just it's weird.
Who's disgraced? Bobby Valentine is disgraced.
Right. Yeah. No, I bet he'll donate the $20K. It'll be even funnier though if he's like managing the Phillies at the time and he's like, "Hey, $20K, good job, Wilson. Good shit."
Who's your guys' favorite disgraced Boston coach / manager?
I think just because
Bobby Valentine
coined the phrase. He coined the phrase. Sorry, coining the phrase. Larry Bird's not walking through that door. Just has Rick Pitino on my list.
Oh, okay.
He sucks, but that's an all-time quote.
Okay,
that Larry Bird's not walking through the door.
Pitino, Ime, Bobby Valentin. Grady Little.
Does Gerard Mayo count? Like how disgraced are we talking? Like
Gerard Mayo.
So just like doing a shit job and not like just being bad.
Something disgraceful.
I got to go with Ime. I loved Ime. I was so upset when that shit went down. I was like, come on, we're losing and it's, of course, you get Joe Mazzulla, who's one of my favorite coaches ever.
Oh, me too. You know what sucked about the Ime thing is like there's no defending it. He did something bad. We all agree it was bad. Completely inappropriate.
We don't even know for sure what he like. I agree. We all know it was really bad, but we don't know exactly what it was.
We don't need the details. You can't. What's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say fornicate, but that's a bit aggressive. You can't meddle in a romantic way with a inferior, superior, the opposite of inferior. You can't do subordinate. You can't do what he did. You can't do it, Gordo. I don't need the details. He's fired. He's gone. You can't defend it. Nobody can. So that is a good example. Bobby Valentine just sucked.
Rockets are getting bounced. So Ime's
Also, Udoka's not jumping off of a duck boat with a freaking torn meniscus just to high five fans.
You might be the first person who's ever called him Udoka and not Ime.
Seriously. You never hear it called that.
Is there a disgraced Bruins coach that I'm? No, not in my lifetime. Claude Julien, no.
Well, Cassidy never won, but he was good.
Yeah, and everyone was upset when he got fired. No, not him. Yeah, no. Monty, nah.
I still say Pitino.
Patino's a good one.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans.
All right, if you're listening and you have a disgraced Boston coach that we're forgetting, a disgraced one like Ime, weirdo, let us know.
All right, let's put a bow on this podcast so we can watch the Celtics hopefully go up 3-1 in this series. And if you're listening and they did not go up 3-1, it's your fault. Thanks for tuning in to Play Tessie episode 347, the Alex Cora is fired podcast that we definitely did not think we were going to be recording in April. That's for sure. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. At Play Tessie on all the socials. bbisn'tboring.com for your merch. Mother's Day is coming up. Get the Baseball Moms Aren't Boring shirt. It's really good stuff. Find us on the YouTube. Play Tessie on YouTube. You know the drill. So we're going to be back. I think we are having a third episode. We'll talk off air. I think we got a third episode coming this week. Regardless, we will have another episode coming on Thursday, no matter what. Right? Thursday, no matter what. Thursday, no matter what. We'll see about the third episode this week. But Thursday, no matter what,
Well,
And
there is a chance that Chad Tracy disgraces himself and we have to do an emergency pod.
oh, I'm back.
Did we lose you? You're back. Did you
I'm
just
back.
disgrace yourself?
Dude, I'm back.
You almost disgraced this episode. All right,
All
get
right,
us
let
out
me
of here.
end this episode. Thanks for tuning in. For Sammy, for Joe producing, his Gordo here. We'll get Pat's thoughts on this next time. He's been tweeting. You can tweet at Pat if you want to hear some Pat thoughts. Hit
Tell
up
him,
in the
tell him
DM.
he's a disgrace. Tell him that he's the disgrace.
Yeah, tell him he's a disgrace for missing this podcast. Like Alex Cora is fired podcast, Pat. Get in the room. For Sammy, for Joe producing, is Gordo here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Peace.